If you're over 60, one simple pill you take at night could quietly raise your risk of a stroke while you sleep. No chest pain, no warning, just one moment you're dreaming peacefully and the next your arm won't move, your words come out slurred, or the room won't stop spinning. I'm Dr. Bill Harrison, a neurologist and stroke specialist with over 25 years of experience treating seniors just like you. And today, I'm exposing the 5 everyday medications that may be silently raising your stroke risk overnight. Here's the shocking part. These aren't rare prescriptions. They're some of the most common pills sitting in medicine cabinets across America right now. Pills trusted to help with blood pressure, heart health, sleep, or pain, but at the wrong time or in the wrong dose, they can quietly put your brain in danger. Quick pulse check before we dive in. Have you ever wondered if your medications might be doing more harm than good? Type 1 in the comments if you've had that thought, or type 0 if you've always assumed prescriptions are always safe. And while you're here, hit subscribe to Inspired Living, because what you're about to learn could protect your brain, extend your independence, and maybe even save your life. Stay with me, because the very last medication on this list is one I see seniors unknowingly take every single week, and it shocked even me as a brain doctor. But first, let's start with a pill you might already be taking tonight, one meant to protect your heart, but that can quietly backfire in your sleep. First on our list, blood pressure pills taken too late at night. For many seniors, these medications are life-saving. They keep arteries relaxed, protect against heart strain, and reduce long-term risk of stroke. But here's what most older adults are never told. Taking certain blood pressure pills right before bed can actually raise your stroke risk while you sleep. Here's why. During the night, your blood pressure naturally dips. It's part of your body's circadian rhythm. But if you add a strong dose of medication on top of that natural dip, your pressure can fall too low. When that happens, your brain doesn't get the steady flow of oxygen it needs. Hours later, in the early morning, when pressure suddenly spikes again, fragile arteries can rupture or clots can lodge in narrowed vessels. I'll never forget Robert Matthews, a 78-year-old retired teacher I treated. He was diligent, never missed a dose, always followed instructions. But he took his strongest blood pressure pill at 10:30 p.m. sharp every night. One morning, his wife found him unable to move his right side. The scan confirmed a stroke that happened while he was asleep. When we reviewed his records, the timing of his medication was a major factor. And the research backs this up. A study published in Hypertension found that seniors taking nighttime doses of certain antihypertensive drugs experienced more episodes of dangerously low blood pressure overnight, a risk directly tied to higher stroke rates in the early morning hours. So, what's the safer approach? For many seniors, shifting blood pressure medications to the morning or early evening can reduce these swings. But every case is unique. That's why it's crucial to ask your doctor whether the timing of your pill is helping you or quietly raising your risk. Let me ask you, do you take your blood pressure medication at night? Type 1 if you do, type 0 if you take it earlier in the day. Your answers may help someone else realize they're not alone. And don't go anywhere, because the next medication on our list is 1 million seniors used to help them sleep. But for your brain, it can do the exact opposite. Second on our list, sleep aids and sedatives. If you've ever struggled with restless nights, you may have been prescribed a pill to help you sleep, or maybe you've reached for an over-the-counter option like diphenhydramine, better known as the active ingredient in common nighttime formulas. On the surface, they seem harmless. You fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and feel like you're finally getting the rest you need. But here's the truth most seniors never hear. Sleep aids can quietly raise your stroke risk. Here's how. Many sedatives work by slowing your brain activity and relaxing your muscles. But they also relax your blood vessels and lower your breathing rate. For seniors, this combination can reduce oxygen supply to the brain during the night, especially dangerous if you already have sleep apnea, high blood pressure, or stiff arteries. Add the morning blood pressure surge that naturally happens around 4 to 6 a.m., and you've set up the perfect storm for a stroke. Take the case of Ann Wallace, a 74-year-old retired nurse. She started using prescription sleep medication after her husband passed, hoping for better rest. For a while, she thought it was helping. But one morning, she woke up confused and unable to form clear sentences. The scan revealed a mild stroke. Her doctors explained that the sedatives had slowed her breathing and oxygen flow enough to tip her brain into crisis. And it's not just anecdote. A major study published in the BMJ found that seniors who regularly used prescription sleep medications had a significantly higher risk of stroke and early death compared to those who didn't. Even milder over-the-counter sleep aids can carry this hidden risk if taken frequently. So, what's the safer approach? If you need help with sleep, talk to your doctor about non-medication strategies first, improving sleep hygiene, adjusting evening routines, or ruling out conditions like sleep apnea. And if medication is absolutely necessary, dosing and timing should always be reviewed by a physician. Quick check-in. Have you ever used sleep aids to help with insomnia? Type 1 if yes, type 0 if no. Your comments may help others realize just how common this habit really is. And stay tuned, because the next medication is even more surprising. Millions of seniors take it for pain relief, but in the wrong context, it can silently double your risk of a clot. Third on our list, painkillers, especially NSAIDs like ibuprofen, naproxen, or similar over-the-counter tablets. These are the pills so many seniors reach for after gardening, climbing stairs, or just waking up with stiff joints. They're advertised as safe, convenient, and even doctor-recommended. But here's what the labels rarely emphasize. In older adults, these everyday painkillers can quietly raise your stroke risk. Here's why. NSAIDs work by reducing inflammation, but they also interfere with how your body regulates blood pressure and clotting. They can cause your blood pressure to creep up, thicken your blood, and strain your kidneys, all of which make strokes more likely. For someone in their 60s or 70s, taking these pills daily can create a dangerous cycle without any obvious warning signs. I'll never forget Richard Bowman, a 77-year-old retired teacher. He took ibuprofen nearly every day for his arthritis. At first, it seemed harmless, just a few tablets to help him stay mobile. But over time, his blood pressure began creeping higher despite medication. One morning, he collapsed while pouring coffee. The scan showed he'd had a clot-related stroke. His doctors explained that years of regular NSAID use had quietly stacked the odds against his circulation. And this isn't just one case. Research in the European Heart Journal found that seniors using NSAIDs regularly had up to a 30% higher risk of stroke, especially if they already had high blood pressure or heart disease. What feels like a simple pain pill can silently load the dice against your brain. So what's the safer option? If you're using non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs daily, talk to your doctor about alternatives, from physical therapy to targeted pain management strategies. Acetaminophen may be a safer option for some, though it carries its own risks if overused. The key is never assuming over-the-counter means harmless. Quick check-in. Have you ever taken painkillers like ibuprofen or naproxen for days at a time? Type 1 if yes, type 0 if no. Your answers could help someone else realize they're not alone in relying on these pills. And don't go anywhere, because the next medication is even more common. In fact, millions of seniors take it every morning to stay healthy, but it may actually thin your blood so much that it sets you up for a brain bleed. Fourth on our list, blood thinners, especially when combined with daily aspirin. Now, let me be clear. Blood thinners like warfarin, Eliquis, or Xarelto can be life-saving. They prevent dangerous clots in people with atrial fibrillation, artificial heart valves, or a history of stroke. Aspirin, too, has been used for decades to reduce clot risk. But here's the hidden danger. When these medications are stacked together or taken in the wrong dose, they can silently raise your risk of a hemorrhagic stroke, bleeding inside the brain. I once treated Margaret Ellis, a 75-year-old who had been prescribed warfarin for her irregular heartbeat. But she also read online that a baby aspirin a day keeps the doctor away. She added that aspirin to her routine without ever telling her physician. Weeks later, she arrived at the hospital with a severe headache, sudden nausea, and confusion. The scan revealed a brain bleed. Her blood was so thin that one small vessel had simply given way. This is why guidelines are so strict. The American Heart Association warns that combining multiple blood-thinning agents dramatically increases the chance of brain bleeds, especially in older adults. Even a small fall, a bump on the head, or a spontaneous vessel rupture can become catastrophic when your blood is too thin to clot. So what's the takeaway? If you're on any kind of blood thinner, warfarin, Eliquis, Xarelto, or even just a daily aspirin, never add another on your own. Always ask your doctor before starting, stopping, or stacking these medications. The line between protection and danger is razor thin. Quick engagement check. Are you currently on any kind of blood thinner or daily aspirin? Type 1 in the comments. If yes, type 0 if no. And while you're here, hit that like button so YouTube shows this message to more seniors who may not realize how common this risk really is. And stay with me, because the final medication is one of the most overlooked. It's something millions of seniors take for energy and mood, but it can quietly spike blood pressure and put your brain at risk overnight. Fifth on our list, antidepressants and stimulants. Now, don't get me wrong, these medications can be incredibly valuable. Antidepressants help millions of people manage depression and anxiety, while stimulants like certain ADHD medications improve focus and daily functioning. But here's the hidden risk for older adults. Some of these drugs can quietly spike blood pressure, disrupt heart rhythms, and trigger strokes, especially at night. I'll never forget Thomas Reed, a 68-year-old former teacher. He had been prescribed an antidepressant to help with low mood after retirement. Within weeks, he started waking up with pounding headaches and dizziness. One morning, he collapsed in his kitchen. The scan showed he had suffered a small stroke. His doctors discovered that the medication he was on had been driving his blood pressure up overnight, and no one had checked it closely. Research confirms this risk. A large study in the Journal of Hypertension found that certain antidepressants, especially SSRIs and SNRIs, can raise blood pressure and increase stroke risk in older adults, particularly when combined with other medications. Stimulants, too, raise heart rate and blood pressure, adding extra strain to aging vessels that are already less flexible. Here's the takeaway. If you're on antidepressants or stimulants, don't panic, but do monitor your blood pressure regularly, especially in the evenings. And never start, stop, or change the dose without your doctor's input. For many seniors, a safer alternative, like therapy, lifestyle changes, or milder medications, can be explored. Quick check-in. Have you or someone you know ever been prescribed antidepressants or stimulants later in life? Type 1 if yes, type 0 if no. Your answers might open someone else's eyes to just how common this really is. And stay with me, because in the conclusion, I'll bring all 5 of these medications together and show you the small steps you can take today to protect your brain while still getting the care your body needs. Oh, here's the truth. Medications themselves aren't the enemy. They save lives every single day. But when taken in the wrong dose at the wrong time or in combination with other drugs, they can quietly stack the odds against your brain. Let's recap the 5 we covered today. First, blood pressure medications. If taken late at night or in the wrong dose, they can crash blood pressure and starve your brain of oxygen. Second, sleeping pills. They relax your body, but can also slow breathing and circulation, raising clot risk overnight. Third, anticoagulants or blood thinners. Life-saving in many cases, but if unmanaged, they can tip you into dangerous brain bleeds. Fourth, decongestants. That little pill for sinus relief can spike your blood pressure and strain fragile arteries. And fifth, antidepressants and stimulants. Helpful for mood and focus, but capable of raising blood pressure and disrupting heart rhythms if not monitored closely. And remember, it's that last group, antidepressants and stimulants, that many seniors unknowingly take every week without realizing the impact they can have on the brain. The good news? Every single one of these risks is preventable. By knowing what's in your pill box, monitoring your blood pressure, and having regular conversations with your doctor, you can keep your brain protected while still getting the benefits of modern medicine. So here's my challenge to you. Tomorrow morning, look at your medication bottles. Do you know what each one does? Do you know how it interacts with the others? If yes, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. And make it a priority to ask your doctor at your next visit. And if this video helped you, hit that like button so YouTube shows it to more seniors who need this message. Don't forget to subscribe to Inspired Living, because in our next video, I'll reveal one simple household habit neurologists like me use to cut stroke risk in half. And chances are, you already have the tools in your home. I'm Dr. Bill Harrison, neurologist and stroke specialist. Stay safe, stay informed, and above all, protect your brain. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to replace medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult your physician or a qualified health professional before making changes to your medications, diet, or lifestyle. If you experience sudden weakness, slurred speech, vision changes, or severe headache, call emergency services immediately.